And what is up, everyone? Wow, my hair does actually look pretty bad today. Didn't use
I
my.
tried telling you, you didn't listen to me.
I didn't have my brush today, but today has been hectic. All things, just got back from vacation. Sat here and visited some places while I was there. Picked up a new project. Welcome in, Bad Dog, Mike, Pat. How y'all doing? I've never tried this. Mike, do you see that from there? We got a nice blue one today. But trying some new things. I now have James over there in my head through my ear.
Guys, he can hear everything I'm saying, even when I'm trying to have my private conversations with you that I have every stream that he doesn't know about. He can hear them now. Quite upsetting.
Bergman, how you doing? So, that here went with our traditional do today. Oh, I've been waiting like half an hour to do that.
I mean, he could spin. He does have that ability.
I have room
Almost
to
all
do
the way
that in this
around.
studio.
Almost all the way around in one go. Almost.
Almost. But the good news is, like I said, I stopped by some places when I was on vacation. I went down, stopped by Fabrico to pick up some things, and I picked up a new nozzle for the Prusa. That way, it is their new Alpha nozzle. That they actually sit here and print these little pieces and everything for them, depending on the nozzle you get. The longer one, obviously, for the Prusa nozzle, but for the V6, it's a short little one with a green cap and everything. But pick one of these up, that way I can do some more abrasive materials in the Prusa, because while it's not as abrasive as, say, like a carbon fiber or a glow in the dark, James does want to do actual pulp in filament, wood filament, when he sits here and gets his micron. So I wanted to make sure I had a nozzle that could handle that. No, it's not a crack pipe,
Not today, anyway.
but
Or ever.
it's actually a very nice tight fit. It's really well designed, and it's 3D printed. So, looks, based on the texture, it almost seems like it's a carbon fiber filament for the black part. And honestly, I don't know if it's PLA, PEDG, PS, ABS, ASA, or what for the orange part, but it holds it in there very well. So, and then it's just a friction fit that holds it in there. So it's going to be a nice little upgrade for that. But good news is this stream, we are getting back to the Voron, because one of the big problem I was having with it was that clicky probe was just not picking up the Z offsets. There you go, Gerdman. It's plastic. Yep, we got the material right. Plastic. But that clicky probe, like the Z
Maybe
offset,
that's
wasn't
just what
staying.
they want you to think.
Even when we got a good Z offset dialed in by doing the whole bed thing, you'd go to the next print, it would just drag across. So I think it wasn't keeping like a bed mesh or something, or it was because it did the little quad gantry level every time. Those little variations got off on the bed mesh that I kept stored. Havoc, welcome on in. So, what we are going to be doing today is I'm going to be upgrading the tool head on it. I'm going to get away from the stealth burner and going to a A4T that I can put the cartographer on. One part for this build.
The Brusicam seems to be doing pretty well tonight so far.
Yep, this is all stuff for that's James came over today. He was like, handed me a thumb drive and says, print this. I'm like, okay. But so what I've done, and the piece that I'm waiting for is also from Vitali. I have picked up Vitali's, and I have not even opened this yet, so I'm getting to see this for the first time, same as you. Vitali's Zoll A4T mount, so that way I can sit here and get the cartographer mounted on here. It is aluminum, so I don't have to worry about the magnetism on the Carto. Bergman, I have a V4. Carto can go CAN bus or USB. I am going to be changing this out to CAN bus. Now, one of the cool things I think with the Vitali is he does send you kind of all the pieces to get it mounted onto the carriage. But the goal for today is to at least get the tool head together. Maybe not necessarily mounted on the printer, but get the tool head at least together, because I'm going a bit more. We are going with an Orbiter 2.5 extruder, and then I sat here and decided that I wanted to do a filament sensor as well. So we have the Orbiter filament sensor. So that's going to be an interesting thing to install, because on the next extruder it was just kind of built in. This one it's not. RJ, how you doing? Let's see here, just checking in on chat. Havoc, you didn't miss anything. We are just kind of starting. Yeah, so we do have the newest V4 cartographer. It comes pre-soldered in the orientation that allows it to be horizontal. They do give instructions for desoldering and changing the orientation. Comes with a USB cord or a shorter cord if you're going CAN bus. So you can go the short cord to go to a tool head board, or you can run a USB cord all the way from the cartographer back to your Pi. But I have been busy picking up parts. We are also using an EBB36 Gen 2 board for our toolhead board. So we're switching away from the Nighthawk. This one sat here and gave me the options to run all the fans I need for the A4T. You know, CAN bus is right built into it. I have enough headers for the filament sensor, the cartographer right on it. And because the Leviathan board that is in the printer already actually already has the 4-pin CAN bus board that the umbilical uses, I should be able to just bypass the USB adapter and go straight CAN bus to the board. So that's going to eliminate and free up some space in the bottom for more fun things. The other, just like last time when we sat here and upgraded the power supply on our V0, I have another power supply that we're going to be upgrading in the 2.4 to sit here and be able to run the Pi off of this. But we're not going to be doing that one today. RJ, send some of that rain over here. It's still dry. It is very dry over here.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know, but apparently Florida is a desert.
Let me get those packaged back up. Then for fans, we have our GST time 4010 blowers and our GSD time or GDS time 2510. Now, according to Armchair Heavy or DW Tasks or whoever's actually making, DW Tasks, I believe, who is one of the primary creator of the A14. Let me double check that here at the bottom, see if they give credit. So I want to give credit to where it's due, and I am terrible at names.
Can confirm. He doesn't even know mine. What is my name?
James.
Good job.
No, James Cube.
Ah.
So yeah, the GitHub is under DW Tasks, so it looks like that's it. But according to him, these GDS time 2510s are running a bit thicker. So what they've said is the little cooling shroud that goes and holds them in with a friction fit to sink it down into your build plate a bit to get a 0.4 millimeter difference to make up for the extra spaces this is taking up. So I have the one that's printed full size and the one that's shrunk. We're going to try doing the one that's full size first, just because if I can, that still fits.
RJ,
That'll
you
be
do know
good.
my name. You just said it. It's James.
Same J. Same J. Let's see. Howie, welcome on in. Let's see, your Mike, you've been working on building a V0 with your girlfriend. She finally admitted her color choices were because she wanted it to look like it came out of 90s Nickelodeon. There is no problem with that. I sat here and just got access to Paramount Plus myself, and I'm going through these things, and I'm just looking through the old cartoons, and I'm like, I remember watching these. And now I've got to go pop that thing open and go watch Rugrats all over again, because Rugrats was. But the thing that I won't be able to do today, or I can, but I'm not going to do, because I'm waiting on one more part, and what that is the toolhead mount from Vitali. It was supposed to be here yesterday. USPS sits here and apparently can't keep track of their own packages, so it's not going to be here until tomorrow. But I got the G7 gland, so that way we can have an umbilical going from the tool head all the way back. In the meantime, I did print out the printed tool head board holder. RJ, I am not going to Murph. I'm going to be trying to go to 30 in Printopia. Murph was just not going to work out this year for me. Maybe next year, but not this year. Down under, how you going? No, we are not on CAN bus yet. can't tell if that's Cyrillic or Greek, but I'm not going to try to pronounce that name. But we started the build series doing kind of a, hey, this is the LDO kit, this is how it came, and started assembling it. And we got it assembled with all the functional parts, and we got a print out of it. We did print a bid sheet, but I had it, like, I was working with some people offline, and no, I just had it with that clicky probe. So we're going to be upgrading. So I think without further ado, I think let's go ahead and starting to build the tool head. So, they give you, I will post a link in chat to the GitHub, and let me see if I can pin that. Yep, we're going to pin that. That is the GitHub for the A4T tool head that goes over, where you can get the STLs, the CAD for it, the instructions on how to put it together. So if you guys want to follow along. Another thing that we are going to have to do with this eventually, we're going to have to keep an eye out on those front two corners, because apparently with this tool head being wider, it can run into the idlers, and so we may have to change it out for the beefy front idlers. I'd really like those new front idlers that they were showing off on the new Trident, with the single, that were like the beefy front idlers but with a single screw to adjust. That'd be awesome, but I have not found those yet. I know he was saying it was originally a design by Hart K, and he shortened them, I believe, but even on Hart K's thing, I didn't find them. But the other thing, it's warning you.
Hear me in your ears, but stream shouldn't be able to hear me. Stream, chat, let me know if you can hear me.
One thing they did say is the cartographer CNC mount that cartographer sells on their website, was made for the stealth burner and
I'm dumb.
Not the A4T.
I unmuted it when I was saying that, so of course they heard me.
Now you can use it, but they do say specifically. Actually, James, can we get the computer on screen? Alien. So, yeah, this is where they're saying, hey, be aware, you can have a homing problem with the stock front idlers. So we might do that. Armor, we're changing out parts so that way it will actually function reliably, because the clicky was just not giving us that reliable and speedy, because I have a feeling it has something to do with, doing the one bed mesh and then it offsetting ever so slightly whenever it would do the quad gantry level, and that throwing everything off. So we are changing out the tool head at this point. Get cartographer on. But other thing to note that I was just saying, the cartographer CNC carriage was designed to be used with the stealth burner. So if you're using the A4T, you can use it, but you have to take about 1.8 millimeters off of it. And unless you have the tools, you're willing to sit there and file. And then if you're filing, then it's a matter of getting it nice and flat, because if the cartographer is not a nice and flat and level to the parallel to the surface that you're doing, it can throw off your mesh. So finally getting some people in here, so we're going cartographer armor. So we're gonna do that. Going through here, we have our list of materials. I am skipping the neopixels because kind of keeping up the tradition that the neopixels didn't work in that. And then it's like, you know what? we're going to hold off on the neopixels for now. If I decide later on I want to add them in, I can always take the toolhead apart and add them in.
I think it's a lack of will more so than anything else. Just saying.
So this first little bit, I've already gone through, I've removed the little bits of supports that came on here after it printed. I will say they just popped right off. They're actually very well designed, and you actually don't even need to use built-in supports in Orca or Prusa. They are modeled in supports, and so with the way he modeled them in, they just came right out. So that was very nice. But so we're going to be skipping this first little part with the LEDs.
Maybe that's a little bit better for you.
Yeah, so far I've had the first harness that broke. That was directly from LDO, but they sent me out a replacement. I tried one from Fabrico, but I think it's pinned wrong, so that never lit up. And so now I technically have two NeoPixel harnesses that I could butcher to get this working, but I'm like, it's not needed for it to function. It can be a nice, cool thing to have to sit here and see, the nozzle lights and have the little logo light up, but it's not needed to have. But so let's go ahead and get into this build. I've gone through and skipped past the whole part where it's like, hey, this is all the steps to get the NeoPixels in here. So what I need to do now is to apparently take this out of its little channel. And then they are saying this is going to go with our back end facing inwards. That way it pulls air through.
I think you'll be all right, Mad Dog. I think you'll be okay.
And then we push this in. You need to top load it first. Now we're going to see how well the tolerances were. Top first. This bit. The little back pieces catch it on me.
I have been completely distracted. What are you doing right now?
So what we're doing is we're taking the hot and cooling fan and getting it into our cowling.
I'm sorry, say that last word again?
Cowling.
Sure.
I'm just trying to get the fan, there we go, in past the little bottom piece. So this little bottom piece was the piece that was, you really have to get kind of in there first. They tell you to go in from the top first and then back. I kind of went the other way to get it past here, and that just holds it in with a friction fit. So, and then this cable is actually going to come up over to the side, it looks like. Now this is where we're going to find out which of these exact term they use is the hot and fan ducts we need to use. This is our full size one, and with this there are two little notches. There's a big notch and a small notch. The big notches that go around the corner actually go towards the top of the tool head, and then it just sits in and slides up to lock in. We're going to see if this will actually fit in, or if I do in fact need to use the shorter one. Okay, so it does look like I'm going to need to use the shorter one, because I can get one side in, but not the other. Fan. And yeah, so if you are using...
I promise you, the world can only handle so much of me.
If you are using...
You don't want any more.
The GDS time fans, and specifically the 2510 fan, his advice of, hey, shrink it into the build surface by 0.4 millimeters in the slicer before you print it is a must. Otherwise, the hot end fan duct will not fit in, but then that just holds it in with friction. So no screws or anything needed. That is actually a really nice thing. They're also giving you a warning. You know, as you're doing this, make sure that you're not pinching any wires, which looks like we're good.
I will say that print's going pretty well so far, though. Haven't seen many issues yet, knock on wood.
Yep, look, we did pinch wires. So we're going to pop that out and get those routed down.
Yeah, the Bruce cam hasn't gone out once yet on stream. Knock on wood. Which is crazy considering how it was the first stream I tried to do it.
Okay. We've got that pushed back down. Now let's try to get Howling back in here. And did I grab the wrong one? I believe I did. Yep, I think I grabbed the wrong one that first time. And again, maybe not. You stay in your little track. Okay. And what now looks like the proper track. Okay. This one The other one is actually our correct one. There we go, and that looks like those are no longer pinched. We've got those in there.
First time's the charm.
Yeah, first time. There is a little clip on the side over here that kind of holds that cowling in place, that duct in place, as well as the friction from the fan holding it up against the other piece. Here. Oh, down under once more, you, James. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so we aren't going to need to tidy up the LED harness, but we're not using LEDs, but it looks like this should just be coming up the side over here, because
I still think you should use them. Just saying, it looks pretty. LEDs are cool.
James likes his LED.
You're the one who was gushing last stream about the side panels on that V0.
Those side panels do look nice. And those side panels really do look nice on the V0. Okay, so apparently I should just be able to pop off the top of this fan, and there's really no clips or anything holding it in. Working my way around, there we go. Now, what they have are these little, let's see, what do they call them? Backflow inhibitors to keep the air from coming back up into the fan, as well as a little spacer tool, so that way you can line it up properly. So this spacer tool should fit in between the actual fan fins and the side of the housing. And then what I'm going to need to do, see here, they're showing it. The spacer tool right down here, and then you're just using that spacer tool to make it so that there's enough room between the backflow inhibitor and the fins to keep it from moving. But I need to get some super glue here now, and we need to super glue that in.
I want to give you guys an update on the me cutting down the Prusa streams into a video. So I started cutting them down the other day, and he dallies around so much when he's building stuff that I got the first stream down without really cutting anything out for about 9 minutes. So it's safe to say that I'm going to be putting all of the streams into one video for you guys. This guy likes to just
I like to ramble and go
minutes.
ADHD. I am very ADHD. Okay. Our super glue. Give it a little dot. Not much. Take our spacer. Put that on. We're just going to hold that in place for a bit and hope to God that I have enough glue in there. Actually set. Now, I do not have activator or anything like that. So we're going to sit here and hold this for a bit while that glue dries.
I think that's what we call a skill issue.
Yeah, down under, I definitely have ADOS or, you know, attention deficit. Ooh, shiny. Thunder Keys, welcome on in. Giving this a bit, trying to let it set here.
So on a scale of 1 to 10 streams, how many do you think it's going to take to actually get that 2.4 printing reliably?
Okay.
What, are you just going to ignore me?
Oh, I have no idea. I thought you were asking the chat on
No,
that.
I'm asking you.
Well, it depends on how much off-camera work I do. Because, you know, once we get the tool head and everything in, it'll be a matter of does chat want to sit here and watch me go through tuning and everything and getting all that done on stream, which, you know, a lot of that tuning is going to be, hey, let's print this thing out and wait and chat for a while and then go back and do a little bit more. Hey, Matt Owl, welcome on in. Down under 20 more at least. Because of squirrel. Well, you guys. You can definitely say I stretch out the content. You know, I'm still new at this, so I'm not getting all of this is coming out of my own pocket. So I'm doing what I can within my budget. Yeah. Sponsors would be a nice thing, but at the same time, I'm having fun. I hope you guys are having fun too.
It depends on what you consider fun for me.
Oh no, we don't care if you're having.
I figured as much.
Right, our little dab of super glue on there. Get our spacer on. Yeah.
I promise you, no one wants to see either of us on OnlyFans. I promise you.
Yeah. You don't want to see this on OnlyFans. Oh. This would not be a pretty sight to see on OnlyFans. I'm just getting this spacer, this backflow inhibitor in here. But welcome on in, 3D&T. Whether it's Dave, Terry, or both of you, how you doing? Show a little 50-15 and 40-10 action. Yeah. Let me show you my blowers. Oh. All right. Nope, that is not quite set yet.
Honestly, Mad Dog, I'm me, and I also need to do that.
You know, whoever does actually invent eye bleach for the internet will be an instant billionaire, if not a trillionaire.
I don't know. Have you seen that one episode of Gravity Falls?
I have not.
Where they have a mind eraser, which is pretty much all you could do for quote unquote eye bleach. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that one.
Down Under, that was a pretty good name yesterday in the draw. That was pretty fun. Cody, how you doing? Tom, how you doing? All right. Was holding in there well enough that it should not pop out. We're gonna pop our cowling, our cover, back on here. Thunder Key, yeah. I could have sat here and upgraded the stealth burner to the cartographer, but I wanted to try something a bit new. Oh God, yeah, Dave, I can definitely see where Terry would be screaming no on that one. What I'm gonna need now. I need to find where I put the files on the new studio. Oh, here we are. That was easy.
That was easy.
Because what I need to do now, we need to break off the little piece here that is used for initial guiding. And then we need to file down the little spacers so that way that they are even with the edge of the fan. I'm debating on whether to do this with filing or just get out the Dremel. Just the Dremel. Yeah, the Dremel is going to be a lot faster at doing this. And I've got a good 0.2 mils to get out of it. The question is do I have an open electrical socket? I do.
Wow, it's magic.
Okay. I'm probably going to have James mute the stream real quick because I don't think you guys want to hear this thing grinding.
Not only a million power outlets, but a million USBs on your computer down under. Let's go.
Alright, so that made pretty short work of that, but unfortunately, I've got one more to go. So we're going to meet you one more time so that way you guys don't anyone wearing headphones doesn't get killed. Let's see here. See here. Yeah, if there's a problem with dual head, you know, there's better ways to solve a dual head problem than tune it. See here. Down under, yeah, that's also something they don't tell you. It's like, you know, oh, hey, when I was doing this before, you know, 5 or 6 outlets, that was fine. Now streaming, I have 20 outlets and I still need more. Yeah. Oh god, the amount of USB ports too. We just added in a USB expansion card into the stream computer. That's not even the computer you guys are seeing on screen right now because I have a separate computer that does all the slicing and everything. Just the computer to handle the stream. We ran out of USB ports between the case and built into the motherboard that we had to add in a separate card. Oh god, you thought that was something else buzzing? Oh. It's not something else buzzing, but we're gonna mute it real quick so that way I don't blow out your eardrums.
Oh, you want another dad joke, do you? Well, let's see. Maybe we'll go with this one. Why did the duck chase the dog all across the yard? Do you know why, Penguin? Say that one more time.
It was quackers.
Nope, that's not right. I'll let one or two people in chat try and give an answer before I ruin it.
Yeah, down under. Thankfully, we have one more PCI Express slot that we can add in to this computer to add more USB.
We have 2, but one of them would be blocking the fan on the graphics card. But technically, we have 2 more.
Okay. If we want to choke the expensive graphics card, we have 2. All right, so we got that Dremel down there. It's pretty smooth and even. Went back through with a little file just to, as well. The Dremel sits here and does do a very nice job at removing that material quickly. It does kind of melt it can melt the plastic a bit, so going through with just a little file can help.
But real quick, that we'll get back to that joke here. The reason that the duck chased the dog all over the yard because he was purebred. But anyway, moving right past that.
Don't worry, after stream, I'll take him out back and hit him with a Nerf blaster.
Yeah, down under. We have 2 more slots, and I think 4 more lanes total, so.
Oh, wow. Yeah, maxing out lanes is never a fun thing. Okay, so... Okay, I'm just looking. At how these are going to go in. So it looks like, you know, the fans point outwards, so it looks like this one's going to go in because the ducting goes down. This is a friction fit, so it should be tight, but trying to get this in here. Trying to see what I'm hitting on. Ah. Okay. Come on, you. The one thing with friction fit is you do need to make sure your print tolerances are very good, and I have not really gone through and tuned any of these filaments for shrinkage or anything like that. And where I seem to be catching right now is there's a little guide that kind of keeps the fan up against the outer housing, but I seem to be catching on that. Down under, yes, it is in EBB 36 Gen 2. Yeah, that one. Yep. Dave, that's what I'm trying to make sure of right now, that as I put this in, I'm not putting too much pressure on this to crack it. And Thunder Keys, when we go to plug it in with the cable, I'm going to check the pin out and make sure that the pins are going into the right ports, so that way I can plug it directly into the Leviathan. Just a little bit. Let me grab a file here. File this back a bit.
Oh, I think that's the first time the camera kind of had an issue there. But it fixed itself. The booster cam, not the base cam or anything.
There we go. It looks like it was just a little tiny thing that was keeping us from getting that in. But now that is in. Now for this side. This is the one that I'm wondering how it goes in. Because I need this one. We just go all the way back with the cable on the back side. And we're on this step right here, and I need to get this fan to face out. To do that, I need the cable to go along the back side. So this one is printed in ASA. Unfortunately, I need to take the cable and run it backwards, so that way that the fan can point, the lower part can point down. So the cable is actually on this side of the fan. And I might need to, yep, I'm going to need to do that same file down right on the initial opening. Just a slight amount of lip on there that's this thing is deciding to catch on. There we go. Both those cables are up. And this cable gets to come back this way. We've got all three of our cables up and going, up and through. And when they say this is a friction fit, it is a friction fit. So now our next part is to attach our hot end. So what I'm going to do, you guys might not be able to hear me real quick. I'm going to take our old hot end off.
Guys, I'm running out of dad jokes. I was trying to think of another one to give you. I can't think of any more.
I tell a science joke. All the good ones. There. Move our accessory pieces over. Last club ones.
Oh, here's one. What did the biologist wear to impress the chemist? Designer jeans. Why is it so cheap to throw a party at a haunted house?
Why is it so cheap?
Well, Dave says because the ghosts bring all the booze.
Hey, boo. Okay.
What did the scientist say when he found two isotopes of helium? Hee.
That's Taking off the thermistor wires now. Get the zip tied.
Sodium and chlorine were dating, but they broke up when things got a little salty.
That is pretty bad. Okay, so I need to take the hot end out of our stealth burner. Here. Keep going. Just add.
You know,
I put
we
it back in
all
the
know at
wrong
this
spot.
point- we all know at this point to never trust an atom, right? Because we know they make up everything. But you can always trust gravity.
Hi,
Is it okay
Todd.
to be
How you
grounded?
doing? Welcome on in. Dave, thanks for stopping on in. Nozzle Clog, welcome on in. If you ever talk to a person, they say streaming is easy, make sure that they've done it first. It is not as easy as some people make it look. I've got myself a James, and even then, it still gets to the point where keeping an eye on everything while you're doing a project can get overwhelming.
Did you hear about the astronaut who stepped in gum? He got stuck in orbit.
I heard about the investigator that did. He was a gumshoe.
Alright, that's enough of those terrible jokes.
We have our hot end in here.
What's an astronaut's favorite part of the computer?
Don't know.
The space bar. There's some really good drinks there.
Okay, so I'm just going to take the entire heater core and everything off of our heat sink. That's one of the things I do like about these Revos. Because you kind of take that off and this gets a bit loose. If I wanted to, I could take the entire thing out.
Speaking of audio down under, I'm trying my best to hold it together over here. Nothing ever works the way I want it to.
No, it doesn't. Okay,
But
now
we're making it work.
this should, there we go. I've got that in there, so now I have to take and screw in the heatsink in. And again, they have modeled this for some very tight tolerances, even for the Revo. You're getting it right in there at the very tip, and it's like, hey, it's not quite going in, and then all of a sudden, boom, it just goes in. So they are very tightly. These are some very tight tolerances on this.
That's what she said?
We are down to the last screw here to get the heatsink in. And then the one thing that I forgot to grab was the square nuts. So I'm going to let you keep enjoying James's banter real quick while I go to the box that's actually back there behind the camera. So I can get square nuts.
Guys, he's not making my life easy. I'm not supposed to be the entertaining one here. That's his job. I don't got nothing to say. I'm not working on stuff. I mean, hey, look at the printer in the top left. Let that mesmerize you. I mean, might look into getting some of that Galaxy PLA, or not PLA, that Galaxy ABS we were talking about last stream. That looked pretty nifty, especially the purple Galaxy. See, you guys are here to watch the chair stream, right? That's what we're here to watch, is the chair. That's what I'm here for. Oh man, he's back.
It's a very good chair. All right, so we got some square nuts here. I think I have enough. Okay, so what it's telling us, put in.
Did I say ASA? I meant to say ABS.
2 at the top here. And there are 2 back here that go pretty deep. Oh, this is gonna. Shrimp Father, how you doing? Okay, I need to grab a very small.
Oh, you know what? It
There
wasn't
we
the
go.
Galaxy
That one's
stuff I
in.
was looking at. It was actually the glitter ABS that I was looking at from Polymaker. That stuff's really cool.
Hey. I had one square nut left over, so it's just enough. So there's 2 in the top, and then back here there are 2 little channels that it just kind of falls in. I would recommend like a very small hex driver or Allen key to get down in there and push them all the way in, because the channel is wide enough that you can kind of drop it in there and it'll fall in, but then you need to push them in the rest of the way. Now in this case, A4T does have their own version of the wristwatch extruder that you can build. I am not going with that one. I am going to be going with the Orbiter.
I mean, I'm on Amazon right now. Polymaker has their glitter ABS Galaxy Purple filament right now available, which is the one I'm probably going to be buying here shortly.
In this case, what they want us to do I have those pieces. I want some standoffs here, but they're not the standoffs I'm used to on PC builds. These are actually just, it looks like there's a hole on both sides on this standoff. That way we can thread one side into the screw that this motor's into, and then that's going to hold our board.
Well, you know what, Down Under Maker? I'll buy it right now and I'll let you know next week.
Leave. The standoffs that came with this. Uh-oh. There is a potential special guest to be coming on stream. It is going to be a matter of if they decide they want to be on stream tonight. Right now, they want to be by James. So, the EBB 36 did come with the standoffs we need. And those are just going to thread right into the screws that are already holding the motor onto the extruder. Okay. A nice little cable. That is probably going to be super long. And we might not even need the extension because we're going to have the board right there. Up. James has decided special guest doesn't get a choice. Huh? Kenneth, how you doing? Welcome on in. You came in at perfect time. River decided that she wanted to come into the studio, and so River's payment for coming into the studio is to be here on camera. And now she's just out here looking like, what in the heck is going on here? Last time I came out here, there was nothing on this desk, and I could just sit here and walk around on it. All right, what do you think,
This is the
Chad?
most important thing we will do tonight.
All right, what we're gonna see here is the cat going to stay. Nope. She smelled one thing and then she was like, no, I'm done.
Back to me she comes. Her favorite.
All right, that is a good thing to point out, Down Under. So if you are using the EBB 36 in USB mode, you need the metal standoffs between the motor and the board to prevent communication errors. Okay, so now
Man,
I get a reach for our.
I held River for 2 seconds and my shirt is completely covered in hair. It was 2 seconds.
Yeah,
Granted,
It's
it's a
hot
black
here.
shirt, but still.
it's 90. It's like 90 Fahrenheit out here. In here,
She doesn't go outside. She doesn't know.
yeah, but Florida in general. Okay, I'm trying to see which way this thing is going to go. Looks like it's going to go into those two. Yep, that would be our flat ones. And so because if I am correct, I'm going to make sure that I'm using the right holes there, because or that this is actually the right board that's printed anyway. So based on this, it should be on this side. And I think the standoff that I was given for the EBB36 Gen 2 is not the right one, because what's happening when I line it up with the two holes that are kind of up and offset, we are actually hitting this little curve here. So, yeah, I definitely would say that is not the right tool head board. Now, granted, let me take a look here. I'm pretty sure I can attach that later, because like I said, I am waiting for the metal printed version of this. But this one definitely will not do, because I came into this blind, because I was going into this. I like making the mistakes on stream, so the average person, it tells me this is gonna work here. Okay, cool. They would print it out, okay, and then be like, okay, let's go. They'd find this out. So the EBB36 board for this, let me check the STLs and make sure. Tool head board bounce. Leave.
So, Havoc, what we're printing right now on the Bruce there is a few different things. I'm having him print a couple lens caps for a lens that I got for a really good deal from a pawn shop that didn't come with lens caps. The lens is in perfect condition, no scratches, no anything. It's a Minolta lens that usually goes for about minimum $200. We got it for like $40. Just need to print some lens caps for it. And then he's also printing me a headphone stand back there.
So, the Zoll PCB mount, because this is a Zoll mount, specifically for the A4T, for the orbiter, does line up with the orbiter spacing to mount this to the orbiter, but what it does not match up with is the EBB36 Gen 2. So I'm not the only one doing it. That's what she said thing anymore. Yay. So down under, right here, the little slope piece right here comes down too far. So there's actually not enough room above to where it actually, the curve actually hits about right there on the board. If I line up the holes, so you can see right there is where the curve is.
Make sure that you always line up the holes.
That's where it's hitting, so this would not actually mount onto this. That won't be a problem when I get the Vitali CNC one, because it's just flat going up. But on this particular one, it is. Let me check and see. The orbiter for the Nighthawk 36, that looks like might actually work better.
No, Kirkman, I was so close.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm trying to. It's more than just a washer width. It's more of a. How big a gap is that? Even if I were to lay this flat. Yeah, it's a 4mm gap. And I don't know if I have a spacer. Big enough for that. I do not. But what I'm going to do, we are going to continue ahead with the build. I will put that on next stream, or in between streams when I get the battalion tomorrow. The next thing is saying is you take your little mount piece and that just mounts up there, and it is giving you a reminder to not forget the PTFE tube. I don't know how long a PTFE tube they actually want, because just tell me. Yeah, that's definitely not long enough. When that is fully inserted into...
Down Under, that is most assuredly not what she said. She would never say they prefer it because it's more compact. You were so close, just the opposite.
Cody, you say there's a printed spacer for it for the EB36? Well, unfortunately, I'm printing out James's thing, so my one printer that can print the spacer live is occupied at the moment. That one's not tuned yet. You'd be surprised. Let me see if it tells me how long a PTFE tube I need. The one that I was using for the stealth burner is definitely too short. Cody, I don't have a profile tuned yet.
See,
for
that is the exact same
the
thing I
V0.
said. Both Cody and Mad Dog.
I do not have a profile set for that yet, so...
Do it anyway. It's fun.
Here, Capricorn tube. It's tiny. Okay. The one thing that sucks about moving studios is if you had something in a place in the old studio, you knew where it was. And I haven't had to use my Capricorn PTFE tube yet, because I've been in a new studio. So I don't know where that one is right now. Here's my cutter.
That took me a second, but that's a good one. That's a good one.
I found the cutter for it.
You know what, Kirkman?
I think I found my.
You're right.
I think I found my spare link that I had. Yep, that is definitely my spare link. Now, how deep?
That's what she said.
Calipers to find out how far that's going to be. Okay, that looks like we are going to need 150 millimeters. No. 15 millimeters above our plate here.
Man, I see why it said that this print is going to take forever. You could have changed the infill settings on that base back there. So I see why that print's going to take forever. You could have changed the infill settings on that base in the back there.
Oh, the back piece, that's actually using adaptive cubic, so it's actually automatically adjusting. Here. So, Gergman, I am not sure which way I'm going to take this printer yet. For things like cell changer and things of that nature. So I'm not sure which cutter and stuff I would like to use yet for these. Grab my marking tool here. Take a mark so I can see where I need to cut this. All right, that should be enough. Put this thing in all the way. But you are kidding me now. You want to go in further with the other end? Six bill. That made my mound. Crossbow is a better choice. Well, there's other ones out there, so I do want to. So my choices are crossbow or crossbow. Okay. The price is not a big concern. So I do not have the money right now for it. I just spent quite a bit of money on the next project. So our next step, now that we have our PTFE tube in there, just screw these down. They do not give me a screw size, so we're going to try. Let's see if some M3x12s will work on this. Okay, so we're trying an M3x12. Definitely hits, but I don't think we're biting into that nut, so I think that one's a bit too short. Yep. Let's see here. Let's try it. That was the 12. That was a bit too short, so we're going to try the 16 now. I'm just screwing this in, trying to see if we catch the nut in there.
That's what
It'll be
said.
pretty obvious if we catch our threading. Yes, we did catch our threading. So if you're using an Orbiter V2, an M3x12 is too short. An M3x16 will make it through and capture that square nut in the bottom. Now, this little warning that they give is not making sense to me. It says if you're using the G2 orbiter cowl for Clockwork 2 tap carriage, the right screw for the extruder will have to wait. We are not using that one, so that should not have to wait. We're going to get our other screw screwed in here. Okay, like we are lined up. One of these days, I'm going to get myself an automatic screwdriver. Today is not that day. Got one side to catch. Now I just need the other side too. And do both sides. No, they are right there. So these are sticking out enough that it should be catching those threads. These things just barely catching. Let's see here. Tip to be square. Tip to be square. Okay, yeah, the M3 by 16s do catch on one side, but there's any warpage on your part at all. Like there is a slight bit on this. They are just barely catching that thread. So I'm going to move this up to an M3 by 20. Undoing the screws that we put in there earlier. Okay, give me a second here. Unscrew.
Your time's up.
Screw. And here's our M3 by 20s. So Gergman, I can say, you know, I've heard some good things with TAP, but I've heard a lot of good things about Cartographer. That's one of the reasons I decided to go with it.
Specifically from Dan Undermaker.
Oh no, it's not just it. But Down Undermaker, I do not think I can say enough good things about it. That's a good one. These don't bite into those square nuts. We have a really big problem. But now we bite. Okay. Well, this is fun. That one was in fact biting in. But there's not enough below it. We are going to have to do the 16s. There's not enough space below that hex nut, that square nut, to get that in there. J3D, how you doing? We are having fun with finding out what screw to use, because the A4T toolhead does not give that exactly, so we get to play, experiment, and find out. It's kind of like fuck around and find out, but without a black eye. Oh, it sounds like the rain's coming. Okay. Always one side that just looks like it's... There we go. Little pressure. And now both sides have gone and fit into those square nuts. There we go. A little bit of pressure on it because there was a little bit of warping. And that is a very solid mount. I'm just screwing back in the nozzle. This one having these two on the one side, and this side only having one. I'm going to take our thermistor and probe and run that up the other side along with the one fan cable. Okay, so now they're saying, hey, it's time to wire everything up. But without that cable mount, that's going to be a bit difficult for me. We could kind of give a preview of the next project. Well, the next project we're going to do after we get this done. John Doe, welcome on in. And Digital Dragon, how you doing? So yeah, so because that one piece didn't come in, and that is going to be what's going to be holding in my EBB as well as the PG7 gland or whatever that is. This is about as far as I can get on the tool head. Actually, there's one last thing that we can do, I believe. And that is for our filament sensor, getting that in here. Now, I believe there's a separate GitHub for that. Easy amp board needs more steps in the sensitivity settings. Significant problem also tells us we need more steps in our sensitives. Oh, that's a good one, Bergman. So, I'm trying to see this. It looks like this thing is supposed to mount in here. trying to see whether or not this thing goes in between, goes over the motor, or behind the motor, or where it goes. Based on this, I can honestly say I can't really tell. Okay, so that looks like it goes over. I'm guessing the collet comes out. Tell me if I'm on the right track here, chat. This is actually a new one for me.
It's not my stream, Bergman, it's his.
I'm guessing the collet comes out, and then the orbiter, the filament sensor goes in its place, pushes down where that collet would go because there's a new collet at the top.
I'm sorry, what do you call it?
For the Voron tube to go in. Oh, they do give us some new screws. So, just looking at this, it looks like the new screws are much longer, so that way they would fit through the places where the existing screws are mounting the motor on. What I'm doing right now is I'm taking the screws that mount the motor and I'm just unscrewing them. It looks like, based on everything I'm seeing, the motor's going to stay in there, but we are going to replace these screws. Get the filament sensor on.
I just had an idea unrelated to anything. So you know your frax arm that you built?
Mm-hmm.
And you know how you want a camera for like a side view?
Yep.
Why don't we build another frax arm? Put a camera on the end.
Believe it or not, I actually already thought about doing that.
Guys, I'm a genius.
I've been looking into that whole system. I'm trying to find, and if anybody does know of one, instead of the soldering iron holder, a camera holder. If anybody knows a mod for that, that would be awesome. Yeah, so what I'm doing now, they give you 2 longer screws, and I need my 2mm drive right here. Five, 2. So they give you some longer screws so that way you could make it not only through the motor like it was before, but also through the extra little bit
I mean,
of the filament sensor.
all it would need is a quarter 20 threaded screw on the end of it. I can imagine it'd be too hard to get a quarter 20 screw on there.
Okay, that's all there is to that one. So we took the collet out of the top of this. The filament sensor goes into the orbiter.
I keep asking, what do you call it?
He's full of jokes.
Well, I'm gonna keep saying it until you answer me.
So yeah, we took it out, and the entire filament sensor just goes down the filament path and narrows down itself. And there's another one up at the top of this to capture the Bowden tube in its place. And then they give you, in the filament sensor kit, longer screws so that way it can fit through not only the way it was before, but through the filament sensor as well.
Brother, I assure you, I do not have enough time in my life for fusion.
Yeah, he's still learning DaVinci Resolve. That is his project.
Learning is a strong word. Making use of. That's what I'd call it.
All right. So it's a bit taller now because of that filament sensor, but I can say one of the nice things I like about that Prusa is the load and unload that it has with the two filament sensors, where it knows, hey, there's filament right here, and then it can run a load macro to automatically feed the filament in. You'll develop fission before fusion. Wiring while listening to someone else wiring a different printer. Nah, nothing could go wrong, Digital Dragon. You're perfectly fine, especially, when you have a newbie doing one of the wiring and the expert doing the other. Thankfully, I'm not going to be talking about going in toolhead boards or anything like that today. And this apparently goes in here. Like so. And then I do believe I'm going to need to possibly put a different connector on the other end of this, unless, are these the same? They are not. So what I was thinking is this is an extension. Oh, this will work. In fact, I think I got my cables mixed up. Yeah. I got my cables flipped around. This was the extension for the orbiter extruder. And the other one is our cable for the filament sensor that breaks out into our 4 pins.
You've got a lot more than just cables slipped around.
I've got some screws loose, some wires crossed. But I am going to definitely need to shorten this cable. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I'm going from this to a tool board, I don't think I need a cable that goes off this screen.
I
This
think
is
you do.
Probably
perfect is what it is.
2/3 of a meter. So 66 centimeters. I think we should definitely shorten that down. The big question, I do not have a depinning tool, but can sit here and get this depinned without the tool. What was that? ASA. All right, I'm just trying to pop the little latch up here. But when you do this, you don't put too much pressure onto it, because they are very brittle. But if I can sit here,
Guys, it's raining.
I just realized there's not even a point of depinning it that way.
It hasn't
You gotta-
rained here, and I feel like a year.
Yeah.
I don't know what
There's-
this sound is.
There's an airplane flying overhead, and they're emptying the latrine.
You sure it's the latrine and not all those chemicals that are totally in there?
I'm
Brainwashing all
gonna
of
go
us
for
for sure.
latrine. Yeah, I don't know why I was gonna even try to bother depinning these, because when I cut them back, we're gonna need to put a new end on them anyway. So let me check and make sure that I have DuPont connectors for that. We have our little kit here, and it does look like it says that I should have them. A little crimping tool. Sure we have the same style. I do now. I can either go with the DuPont connectors, or I can see if I have the correct connector. For that, for the EVB 36, that'll just go straight in. And I do, in fact, have the right connector. So instead of going 4 individual DuPonts, we can just, once we get our board mounted, we can get this thing clipped back, crimped into, which connector is this one? It looks like it's a pH connector. Yep, and then just put some pH females on it, pin this up, and have our own little connector on there. So, hey, that sounds like a plan.
Are you the man? The man with the plan?
All right, so with the one part being printed wrong and the other part not coming in, I'm kind of at a stopping point here. For this. You know what the problem with showing off the next project is?
What's that?
It's out there in the wet, in the back seat of my car.
Yeah, that's right. You're the kind of crazy person who leaves things in your car.
I just got home.
You were home yesterday.
Down under, yeah. At this point, you should point out it's easy to flash before the board before doing all this. Down under it may be, but I also have some mods that I need to do to that. And so I might just go difficult mode on myself. But I will get with you some point after stream someday and talk to you about it, because I do want to make sure that I am doing things properly.
That's a first.
I like to try. I may not always succeed in doing things properly, but I like to do research every so often, especially when it comes to things like flashing boards and clipper and stuff like that. That the mechanical side, I can figure out. The clipper side, I'm still learning. At that, I am definitely still learning. I smell those ASA fumes. Those ASA fumes smell wonderful.
There goes the rain dying down just in time.
I don't think it is. I'll be right back. Let me go grab a box. Boink.
Guys, he's gone. He totally can't hear me right now. But you guys will never, ever guess what the next project is. It's totally not one of his favorite things to do on the channel. It's totally not building another thing. You know, we do one Linux video, and he says we're a Linux channel. The ratio of Linux videos to printers is no bueno. Oh, you are moist.
So I will say it was still a little bit wet out there. But I successfully grabbed the next project. Down under, I can do a Lego stream if you guys want. I was hoping that I could save those for
The rainy
if I
days.
ever got to the point where I could get to memberships. And the Lego streams would be like a members only thing, but I can do Lego streams if you guys want. James can confirm there's like
What you're staring at.
12 or 15 boxes over there of Lego that still need to be built.
15 exactly.
15 boxes, and there's another one in the car. But let's see here. James, can we get the top down?
That's a lot of work you're asking from me, you know?
We picked one up.
Brother, I cannot easily turn the camera. It is much easier either way. Much easier for you to turn the box than it is the camera. There you go.
That is our next thing.
It's my printer, guys. It's for me.
No, that one's going to be Linux Mint. Because I already had the blue one. So I'm going to do a green and... Actually, no. That'll be SUSE. Linux SUSE.
Not Manjaro.
No. Oh, that's gonna be
But I like
SUSE.
the Manjaro green.
Yeah, that's gonna be SUSE. SUSE Linux. Because we've got Ubuntu. We kind of have Fedora.
I don't know if you could hear me when you were gone, but I was saying the amount of, or the ratio of Linux streams to 3D printing streams is no bueno.
Do you guys want more Linux streams? I mean, I sat here and have plenty of things we can do. I've got...
I mean, to be
Gel-
fair, I think what they really want is for you to finish the
Yeah.
2.4, but
Yep, so that will be that is possibly the project we will be working on, or that will be the printer we will be working on after the 2.4. It may not be the next project at this point.
you know what, Down Under? Maybe I will make him do a Temple OS stream one of these days. Maybe.
But, you know, I can sit here and I've got plenty of Linux stuff to do. I can do things like Jellyfin, so you guys how to host your own media, Nextcloud, get your own cloud server. One of my favorites, setting up if you own your own domain, setting up a Cloudflare tunnel, so that way you can access your home without a VPN. But still have encrypted traffic. Even Home Assistant. That'd be a fun little project to do. Oh, it's really coming down out there. It started sounding like it wasn't coming down. It was still coming down. Bergman, yes, the Micron is a mini 2.4, and then eventually, way down the road, don't know when, we're gonna build it. We're gonna actually build one of these ourselves, but we're gonna convert it to the F0, which is a flying gantry version of the V0. So we will have all three sizes of the really big, the medium, and the really small, all with flying gantries.
All right, I have a question for you. I have no idea what I'm going to print, if much of anything. But should I get a Micron or a V0? The issue is I don't know what I'm going to print, so I don't not really know what size I need, but
Well, let's do this. Let's start a poll. What?
and honestly, if I do a V0, it probably would be an F0. Because it just looks more sci-fi with a moving gantry.
Let's see what the chat says. Because after this, I actually do have a question for you guys for the Micron. I need to order a few more parts for it, and I want to see what you guys think. You want a Core 1?
I mean, my main issue is I want pretty colors on the printer. And the Core 1 doesn't have any printed parts on the body.
It's got the screen, and I can reprint the metal handle, and the hinges, and the side handles. I was gonna say we could get you like a Mark IV or something, a non-enclosed printer, because you're mostly going to be printing PLAs.
I mean, I think the Galaxy and wood stuff looks really cool, and I don't know if you need enclosed for those.
I'm pretty sure the Galaxy. It was Polymaker.
Yeah, I mean, I just
Live research.
I just bought it too. I can look.
Polymaker. Filaments. Let's go to the shop. For some reason, I find their shop easier to. You said wood filament?
Yeah.
So yeah, their wood filament.
Galaxy.
Well, the regular wood filament is PLA. Here, Galaxy PLA. Yeah, Galaxy wood.
I mean, Caleb pulled out the trust me bro, so.
Oh. Wow. You sure it was Polymaker that had the Galaxy wood?
They're not Galaxy wood. There's two different filaments.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Galaxy having PLA and
The
different ones.
glitter is ABS that I bought.
Yeah, this. Yeah, the glitter is PLA. Galaxy, you can do an ABS or ASA. But the wood is strictly PLA.
But I mean, Caleb pulled out the trust me bro. It's hard not to take someone out of trust me bro. That might sound like it's sarcasm, but it's not.
He's also a very big fan of LTT. I mean, he's wearing a floatplane t-shirt right now.
It's got dinosaurs on it. That's why it's so cool. Dinosaurs.
And you came over with the LTT backpack
Not today.
and the water bottle
Not today.
and the
my work
screwdriver
That's my work water bottle.
and the screwdriver.
Somewhere.
And you were talking about getting the magnetic cable clips are in here.
Smart. That's an outright lie.
All right, we only got 5 votes in. Well, Gergman, he wouldn't be the one building the printer. I'd be the one building it and we'd be doing the tuning, and then he would just take it home and print it. By the way, how you doing, Killa? Welcome on in. Ugh.
I mean, not a single person said V0, even if it is only 5
Yeah.
votes, so...
I think he's going to be getting a V0. Oh, he's going to get to see me build a V0.
Say that one more time.
He's going to be getting a Micron. I don't know why I said V0. But on notes of the Micron and everything, there was one last decision I needed to make for the Micron build that I'd like your guys' input on. And give me a second here while I put up another poll.
U1 to U1.
So the one thing this kit did not come with is a hot end. I've kind of gone down to 3 hot ends. The Dragon Ultra High Flow, the Fadus Next G Fiber, or just doing the Voron E3D again, because A, I already have nozzles for it, and B, it is a very simple hot end to put together.
I mean, Gergman, printing in multiple colors would be pretty nice.
We could do a U1 for you. It wouldn't be a built printer, really, but Killa, I think a tube compact might be a bit overkill for the Micron. Down under, I can actually get my hands on a mini tube right now, or a tube compact. There is a place that has them for sale. All right, I think we're getting a bit more interest on this poll. Yeah, we have one more vote on this one than the last one. But yeah, there is a place where I can get the tube compact. It's, I think, $180 for just the hot end with I think it comes with the PT1000. But I think for the Micron, that might be a bit overkill. It is something we could possibly change and put into the 2.4, because that longer melt zone might be a bit more advantage with the bigger printer. But I think on a 180 build, a tube compact might be a bit overkill. It's pre-order. Let me double check here real quick. Let me double check and see if it is. Could have sworn I saw order. Nope, it is pre-order right now. Yep, it is pre-ordered. Yeah. And it's only $140 if I pre-order. It's not. How you doing, Wick? Welcome on in. But it's looking like the result should be the Phaetus Dragon UHF, and you know that's what I was thinking. I was looking at the Next G Fiber and the Dragon because that'll let me get into different V6 nozzles and stuff and things of that nature. The Dragon UHF does have a longer melt zone, so could pump up the speeds a little bit. Gonna see how the alpha nozzle does in the Prusa, but yeah, so I'm gonna have to wait till that little hot end comes in, or the little tool head mount comes in. But we're gonna have a CNC tool head mount there to go with our CNC carriage. And I think next stream we'll be able to get the tool head all wired up, mounted on the printer, and with our cartographer on it, because that is one thing I do like. It's got kind of screws right in there. I'm going to print out Esoterical's measurement guide to see how far this will actually mount away from the nozzle. The surprise guest decided to come back in here. Let's see if I can get the surprise guest back on camera before we end the stream. He's coming. She has come over. We have the surprise guest back. 2 visits from the cat in 1 stream. You guys got lucky. So I did see that the Rapido 2F is another one that's recommended. Good Lord, cat, you are shedding like crazy. It's time to give you another bath. You just had one. Oh, we've got one of those too. We sat here, and on the other cat, the one that you guys will probably never see on stream because she is the definition of a scaredy cat. We sat here, and she doesn't know how to take proper cat baths, so the back half sits here, and she never gets rid of her winter coat. And so we took the de-shedding comb to her the other day, and I swear we pulled an entire another cat out from her undercoat. We filled up a sink with just undercoat. But yeah, so the Rapido 2F was one that I was looking at. I wasn't too sure about that long sock on the novel, but you know, it's little things to think of. So, but right now it looks like the Dragon is in the lead, but who knows? We definitely have a few streams before we're even going to get to this printer, so I've got a bit of time to order that in. So, well, I'll do a bit more research, talk to some people in the community, find out their thoughts. And we'll see how it goes. Killa, eventually we might upgrade and change this out to put the mini tube on it, but got to get my hands on one first. Just like if I ever sit here and put index on that, it's got to become available for me to buy before I can put index on it. But other than that, you know, what you guys, you know, we are still testing out new audio and everything. You know, when the video goes ends and everything, sound down in the comments what you thought about the audio and stuff like that. You know, if there's a hot end that I didn't think of, I am trying to stick to the standard, like a standard 4-point mount, and not like the bamboo or Creality style that goes through it. So I'm trying to do that top-down mount. But if there's one I haven't thought of, put it in the comments. Let me know. There's more research to be done and more things to try. But yep, Digital Dragon, I might hit you up because I'm always willing to sit here and support, you know, our local community. And you know, if I could sit here and buy from one of our community members, that is something I definitely look for. So, all right. Well, in this case, I sat here and had a long drive.
I don't have hands. I'm playing with the kitty.
Oh, the cat has extended the stream because the cat wanted scritches and came to James to get scritches. Oh yeah. But, you know, okay. The cat has finally gotten her scritches. So, well, with this, I've been Penguin Makers. The invisible voice behind the camera has been James Q. And I'll say, we got more work to do. But in between now and next stream, go make something awesome.